Good afternoon. I'm Russell Greene, the Alexander County Emergency Services Director. With me today is Dennis Wahlers, County Ranger with the North Carolina Division of Forest Resources. We're here today to discuss debris burning. Debris burning continues to be the #1 cause of wildfire and uncontrolled fires in Alexander County. Alexander County Fire Marshal's Office routinely gets calls complaining about open debris burning on a neighbor's property or adjacent property. Debris burning is approved for land clearing, but it's unlawful to burn anything that does not grow on your property. Dennis, what kind of problems are you having with debris burning in the county?
Well, that's it, and debris burning is our #1 cause of wildfires in Alexander County. And of the 29 wildfires last year, 23 of those were attributed to careless debris burning. People must take responsibility for what they're burning.
Well, I know that the Forest Service issues burning permits, but as I understand it, and correct me if I'm wrong, but because a person has a permit does not alleviate the liability they have if the fire gets out of control. Is that correct?
That's correct. You are required to obtain a burning permit, and you can get one from any one of our agents throughout the county or go online to get one. But that does not alleviate you from damages that may incur from a fire that escapes from you. Any damages as a result of that fire getting away from your control, you are liable for, regardless of whether you have a burning permit or not.
A couple of things that concern our office, Dennis, is the fact that in the Fire Code, North Carolina, the fire marshal has the authority to have a fire extinguished if it's causing a nuisance. So it comes down to a determination of what's a nuisance. Sometimes a person will move on to a piece of property and clear their lot, build their house, and then when the neighbors want to clear their lots, it seems to be an issue with that burning. Understand that we've all got to live together and get along. One of the things that you and I have to deal with is open burnings regulated more by air quality standards than the Forest Service or the Fire Marshal's Office.
Yes, that's correct too. And the Air Quality Control Division has quite an extensive list of regulations and guidelines that people must abide by, and it's too many to get into at this point in time. But some of the main ones are that your smoke drift is of the major concern. If it's drifting into a neighborhood or a neighbor's home or anything of that nature and it's causing a nuisance, it doesn't matter if that person has a health problem or not. If that smoke is drifting into that residence, that fire can be put out or should be put out because it is a nuisance at that point. So there again, obtaining a forecast, knowing what the weather is going to do, knowing the direction of the wind, all these are factors that one should take into consideration prior to burning to be a legal burn.
All right, Dennis, and I certainly appreciate you being here this afternoon to talk about this because I think it's very important. One of the things that concerns me as the fire marshal is anytime a fire comes in, until we get someone on the scene, we don't know if it's a control burn, an out of control burn. We don't know if structures are in danger or not. And any fire puts a number of volunteer fire resources on the road, which endangers everyone. Obviously, firefighters respond as quickly as possibly and safely, but still, we're putting apparatus on the road that wouldn't have to be on the road. We're putting first responders on the road that would not have to be out there. So that's a concern for us, the safety of our first responders, the safety of our citizens in general. And I know from the Forest Service point of view, life safety is the #1 thing, and we're going to look at that first, and we may or may not be able to put people in place to stop a wildfire.
That's true too, and again, the #1 priority would be public and firefighter safety comes first and foremost. Thereafter, of course, we're going to protect any resource that we can, that being a home or a residence or croplands, timberland, et cetera, et cetera. But there again, if it's the right time of the year, if conditions are severe enough and we get major wildfires that are burning, hundreds to thousands of acres, and these fires are moving through residential areas, we're going to have to triage homes. And if your home is not capable of withstanding a wildfire for various reasons, we're going to write that home off and move on to the next one. We can't save them all. We don't have the resources to do that. There again, there is a program called FireWise that I advise all homeowners in the Wildland Urban Interface to be familiar with. There are just some few simple things that you can do to help protect your home in the event of a wildfire.
Dennis, I'm somewhat familiar with the Firewise program. I think it's an excellent program. I know that you've done a lot of work putting that out there to the public. You've met with some neighborhood groups and try to get that program out there on the street. And I know that you've had a few homeowners take advantage of that. And again, I think it's a good program. It doesn't, from what I remember of it, it doesn't say that you can't have shrubbery in your yard. It just says you choose and pick the shrubbery you have. And you keep clearance around your house of pine needles and stuff and the buildup of leaves in the fall of the year. And I think that's a great program. I know that we all know Alexander County is a small county. Our resources are limited. You are a one-man office with the North Carolina Division of Forest Resources. You have folks you can call on from your division out of the Caldwell County office and out of neighboring counties. But typically, when we're in a very dry season, a fire season, we're not the only one experiencing fires.
That's right.
And I do know the other thing that's been some concern lately, is the air assets. The Forest Service has something the Forest Service is working on with the state legislature. The large plane that's been in Hickory for a number of years has been grounded due to maintenance problems. So we have limited assets to be able to pull from. And to me, that makes the need for the Firewise program, the preventive stuff, that much more important to our residents.
Absolutely, and you know, resources are limited. These budget times, of course, are stretched to the limit. We build up all the resources we can, but at the same time, if we're having fires here in the county, rest assured that surrounding counties and counties throughout the state are also having fires. So again, those resources are limited. They're on a first-come, first-served basis, as well as being prioritized as to what's at risk. But homeowners, you know, you can do so much to prevent your home from burning in the event of wildfire. And the homeowner, if you think about it, they have the most to gain by it, by doing these simple things, and they have the opportunity to do those things, whereas we don't. I can't go into a residential area and require individual homeowners to do this, and this to prevent their homes from burning. But I can explain these things or give you direction to do those things, and you can do them. So you have to take the initial responsibility or the initiative to do these things. So we would appreciate it if individuals would call us, homeowners would call us and get involved in these programs. There will be a year coming when we don't have so much rainfall and the fire danger increases significantly.
And Dennis, you're exactly right. I think we've pointed out some of our concerns with debris burning. We've talked about some preventive programs you have with Firewise. And I think you'll join me today in thanking our volunteers, because Absolutely. You and I both know without the men and women that volunteered in the fire service in Alexander County to respond to structure fires, automobile accidents, and wildfires, we could not do it because we don't have the resources within county government or state government stationed in Alexander County.
Absolutely. High praise has to go out to our volunteer fire departments. They're the first ones on the scene. They're going to beat me to any wildfire 9 times out of 10. They're closer to it. Their response times are incredible. They're just, you know, those people need to be praised up one side, down the other for the work they do. And remember, it's all volunteer. They do this on a volunteer basis. They're not getting paid for it. And more as years go by, more and more is required of them. And I'd hate to think what would happen if we had to go to a paid fire department.
Oh, absolutely. I know that we couldn't afford that within Alexander County to pay all of our volunteers. Absolutely. We're very fortunate to have them. Dennis, I want to thank you for your continued efforts with the wildland fires and the education of our public. And thank you for being here this afternoon.
You're welcome.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.